start that again and resume that. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. And just like that, we're back. It's been a while, Michael.
It really has.
So, if you don't know, if you're new, hi and welcome. This is the Bifi Cafe podcast. I am your host, Autumn Lee Ryans, along with my beautiful, beautiful co-host, Michael Bay. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing good. What's up, guys?
I am how do I say this? I feel like I'm like not emotionally drained, but emotionally whelmed. Because I've honestly had like a fucking supercharged week emotionally. So I've been dealing with extreme happiness, extreme anger, and extreme remorse. And then also the thing that you feel after you patch things up with someone. Like that awkward, like everything's kind of good now, but it's still kind of weird. Yeah. So I guess we should apologize to our viewers because, our listeners, because people have painfully pointed out that there are no visuals for this podcast. It's a podcast. Go fucking do something, like the dishes or drive or just anything. It's a podcast. You listen to it. Like go do something active while you're listening to us talk about these pressing issues. Sorry, that was my little rant at you guys, but it's been a while.
This will come up.
Yeah, you did. It's been a while. We've had some technical difficulties, mainly on my part because my internet decided to be a fat fucking fogey. So I'm not sure if fogey is even offensive, but I feel like it is.
It's to somebody out there.
Somebody's gonna have an issue with it. I just remembered what that's from. You fat fucking fogey. Fogey's not even an insult. You're turning it into a derogatory term. College humor. Jesus Christ. Oh man, that video's so old. But yeah. So I got my internet repaired, and we're back. Damn, I really I have bits and pieces of that podcast that are still intact. I want to dissect it and put together kind of like a mini show, like a mini thing, just so that we have not a reel, but like just a teaser as to what we talk about, so to say. Yeah, so I'll use that and then like a couple bits and pieces from other episodes. But usually how we start off. Michael, how are you?
I've been out of school for a while now. Not saying that I graduated, but I'm on vacation.
How's that?
I've been doing pretty good. I've had my ups and downs. Because it's just been one of those weeks where the second one issue stops, another one begins. I don't know, it's weird. I think it's been happening to everybody around me.
Yeah.
But I'm finally catching a break from life, so I'm happy.
I feel you, definitely. Shit. What is this doing?
I feel like I need to find something happier to say, because every time you say, Michael, how are you? I just sound like I'm going through it every time I say it.
I definitely feel you. Yeah, alright, I'm abandoning that second program. We're gonna stick with the one that we got, because I know it works and it's working. I'm not doing anything either. I quit my pizzeria job, so mainly because it was part-time and it just wasn't paying the bills. So I got another retail job, but it's better in a sense. In the sense that I'm gonna be working full time again and I get more of a work wardrobe. So I actually went my mother came up to visit. She's spending the week, and we went to the mall and she helped me pick out some work clothes because she worked in men's clothing, and so she helped me pick out some business casual looks.
I need to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I will say, like, I do like the idea of dressing business casual, you know? I like that. Ooh.
I like it too. The only thing is, whenever I dress business casual, I look professional as fuck, but the fact that I have piercings and dyed hair, a lot of people are like, oh, your fashion sense is there, but your hair, we can't do it. And it's like, a lot of people have their hair dyed,
Yeah,
have piercings.
I think we talked about that on the corrupted episode. I think I firmly believe that your body's not uniform, so anything you do to your hair, to your face, like piercings wise, or like like hair color wise, like those shouldn't matter. Like it really shouldn't. Like it does, but it shouldn't, because your body's not uniform.
hmm My biggest thing is whenever, because I'm tired of McDonald's, I'm looking for another job. Hopefully at Hot Topic, because everyone's everyone that works at Hot Topic just looks different. Not
Yeah,
different to be like, oh my god, they're strange, but the way they look, piercings, dyed hair, like they have a sense of style that you can't get away with working just anywhere.
I feel that.
Reasons why I want to work there, because it's like, yeah, I can just come and dress casual. But at the same time, I'm like, who the hell determines what's professional and what's not? Like, there are so many people that have tattoos, piercings, dyed hair, but they're deemed less intelligent or less qualified than people who look, I don't want to say more basic, but more average in terms of what the employer wants the employee to look like.
I definitely feel you. I remember I was at the mall with my girlfriend Ren, and we had went into a Hot Topic, and we didn't really get anything. We got like a box of Pocky that we shared or something, and the person that worked there, the cashier, was just like, "Do you want a membership card?" And I was like, "No, no, thank you. I don't really shop here like that anymore." I was like, maybe if I was 16, but not now. And she was just like, "Well, I'm da da da, and I still shop here." And I'm like, I didn't fucking mean it like that. Like, I'm not saying that I'm too old for Hot Topic. I'm just saying, like, y'all are fucking expensive. I don't got them discounts. I don't got the bread for this shit. Like, fucking, you want like a $30 shirt? Like, boy, I can snatch up like 4 t-shirts at H&M for that price. Like, what are you trying to do to my wallet?
Exactly.
Just so I can get an Adventure Time t-shirt? You're bugging.
I noticed with Hot Topic in Spencer's, it might be just my luck and my availability, but I always get there just in time to miss the discount. Like the day that they'll be like, hey, if you came yesterday, you could have got 4 for $20. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, y'all can't extend it one more day. And at the same time, I get it.
Yeah, I feel you. You know how I was telling you that I'm gonna open my Tinder up to both men and women?
Yeah, to make friends.
Yeah, I've been swiping. Dude, didn't we just talk about that in like episode 2 of the podcast? And I said I hated people for that. I hated people for that exact same reason, but I've been swiping for like 5 minutes and I've already matched with 3 dudes and 1 chick. 1 girl, like 3 guys. Jesus Christ.
Whenever I swipe on Tinder, I just can't make friends. 9 times out of 10, it's either somebody that's looking to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
In that rare 1 out of 10,
dude,
that either wants to be my best friend or wants a relationship.
Dude, that's so weird. All right, so I had been on Tinder probably like in the past week or 2, and there was a girl who I matched with who just the first message she sent. Oh my god, I fucking have it. I have it. 5 guys now. I'm just gonna keep a tab on that. I'm gonna keep a tab on that this episode. Just how many guys I match with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. All right. So I have the conversation. Let me find it. Hopefully I didn't unmatch her. I hope I didn't. Cause it was just it was fucking hilarious.
People?
Yeah.
At least you're honest. I'm too lazy to unmatch somebody. Like, if I match you just want to sit there.
Oh, man. Dude,
unless you unmatch me.
I don't think I unmatched you. Did I unmatch you? No, I didn't. I haven't unmatched you. Okay, this is the conversation I had with this girl, with my opener, which I'm just gonna tell you from now. Yeah, I stole it from Master of None season 2. So, my opener was, I'm on my way to Whole Foods. Want me to pick you up anything? It's the wrong chat. Wait, is it? Oh, right, it is. She's like, quinona and black bean chips. So question. So like, could we have a threesome with a dude? What? And I reply with, what? Like, I'm not opposed, but would you like to move the conversation to Messenger or something? She's like, nah. And I'm like, okay. So can I get some details about this threesome? I just need another dude. Snapchat. And then she sent me her Snapchat. I was like, I don't have Snap. And then she didn't reply. I didn't reply either, so I'm gonna reply now with good talk. I love doing that to people. I love being that asshole. Yeah, I have a bunch of shit that I haven't replied to.
That's the thing about Tinder. Like, I'm not trying to discourage anyone who has the Tinder, because I have one. But when you don't... If you want to only talk on Tinder, that's like the fastest way to piss somebody off. And it's like, I get it, if you're serious about the person, you want to get more of their contact information, but the second you say no, to some extent, it's like the equivalent of saying, fuck you, I want nothing to do with you. Because they legit leave you on scene. Sometimes
that shit I hate, which is why I talk to them for like 5 minutes. Like, if you have up to 5 messages to make me like you, if I can like you in 5 messages, I'll ask you, like, do you want to move this conversation to like Messenger, or do you want to text me? I'm not so big on like texting people from Tinder. I'm more big on like Messenger, because like Messenger is like my bridge, like it's my middle point. Like, if you move from Tinder to Messenger, and from Messenger to, my phone number, perfectly fine. Because if I give you my phone number, you can call me. You can text me, you can do whatever. At that point, like, I want to talk to you. Like, I actively enjoy talking to you. But you have to go through that, like, bridge. At least for me. Some people don't have social media like that. Oh, wow. Oh, shout out to this girl, Michaela. With an I, for whatever reason. She
What did she do? I'm in suspense.
I replied with good talk, and she replied just now. She was just like, I'm sorry, I'm not in a great place right now. Sweetheart, it's okay. Sweetheart, It's alright.
Well, damn, I gotta give her an award. She made you feel like a dick just like that.
To just silently keep.
Well, while Autumn is texting Michaela,
on Skype.
Let's open up to one of the issues that we wanted to talk about.
Right.
So, the topic of living in the past.
Right. Okay. So it's really interesting because the reason I came across this topic, right? Not only because, like, you know, you have friends, you have people who tend to, like, reminisce on the good old days, but then that's like their thing. Like, they constantly talk about the good old days. For me, the reason why I really wanted to talk about this was because there's a show on Netflix called Friends from College, which takes this concept and fucking pumps it to 11, right? So, one of the stars is Keegan-Michael Key, right? And he's one of the characters on Friends from College, which I fucking hate his character. It's so over the top for me. Like, the show is already at an 11, but this nigga takes it to a 13. And it's his character alone. And it's funny, and it works because he's a writer. His character's a writer. And writers are known for being, like, deep and mysterious and like, complex and shit. But his character wears his fucking emotions on his sleeve. Like, if this nigga could get a t-shirt that changes with his emotions, he would. So it's a double-edged sword. You know? Oh, by the way, I replied to Michaela with, "Aw, sweetheart, it's alright. I'm here if you want someone to just silently keep you company on Skype." She hearted the message. Shout out to Michaela. I hope you get through that. But hey, so I just really don't like his character, and it's a good like, I don't like you, because I've put a few friends onto it, and they've given me their perspective on his character, and his character is essential to the plot. But mainly, it focuses on a group of friends that are from college. They all went to Harvard. So they're all, like, fucking smart as shit. It's crazy. There's a scene in the show, right, where Keegan-Michael Key's character writes a book. And it's funny because it takes majority of the series to create the concept for the book. But then in this one conversation, his publicist and Keegan-Michael Key, they're talking. And so his publicist is like, "Hey, you remember the book that you just wrote? Why don't you change the concept and focus on a different character type, you know?" And he's just like, "Why would I do that? I just wrote a book." He's just like, "Yeah, I know, but, you know, I think it would really speak to an untapped potential market." And he's just like, "I just wrote 400 pages. And he's like, "What? 400 pages? And he's like, "Yeah, it's a damn book. Like, what?" Like, and it was so hilarious because it's just like, 400 pages is not easy. It's really fucking not. And for someone to make like, it wasn't a joke, but it just came off as hilarious because at some point you realize that they all went to Harvard, they all graduated, and they're all really fucking successful and really smart at what they do. And it contradicts with their actions because they act like a bunch of college kids. And it's so dumb. Like, it's really dumb. But it's so great, and I fucking love it because it what is it? Fuck, it was on the tip of my tongue. It focuses on people who live in the past, and like it kicks it up to an 11. So it's just like, you know what? For everyone who's like, "Oh man, the good old days," look at these people. Look at these people who are successful, who fucking know what they're doing, but choose to live in the past because that's the only thing that's really keeping their friendship afloat. you know?
Yeah.
And so it made me reflect a bit and made me look at the people in my life who really focus on the past and see like and like parallel that shit. So it's just like here you have a bunch of kids who or adults who went to a really prestigious college, really prestigious college, are all smart as shit, all fucking like they're doctors, they're businessmen, they're writers and etc. They're all great. And then, there's me and my friends, and then they reminisce about high school and the good old days and the cliques and the shit, and I'm just like I realized how not with the shit I was, like how like not how much I hated it because of just how annoying it would be, because I realized who I was in high school and I realized who I am now, and I love myself more now than I did like even a month ago. Like a month ago I would tell you like, no, fuck that. That's not who I am anymore. I've grown since then. Same concept if it was 2 years ago, same concept if it was 5 years ago. I'm not that kind of person that likes to reminisce on the past. I'm not saying I'm not one for good memories. Like good memories are good memories. But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, damn, I really wish I was 17 again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I say I don't care. And it's funny now that I say that because I did catch myself doing it though. I caught myself in my relationship, I caught myself basing where I was going in that relationship off of what had happened in the past. And it was only after, I stopped looking at everything through rose colored glasses that I realized the damage that I was doing. And like to I'm still recovering from that. I'm still growing from that. But like they say, being aware is the first step. Admitting that you fucked up is the first step. It's not the final step, but it's the first step.
Definitely. From my perspective, growing up, my father never really was somebody who would allow me and my younger brother to focus on what happened in the past. His way of thinking is, look, life happens, shit happens, you just learn from it and move on. So he taught us to focus in the present, but also look to the future when we're feeling down. Which is kind of ironic because right now he's living in the past, but that's a whole nother story.
I mean, yeah, some people are hypocrites, but
I mean, I feel like it's easy to be hypocritical because living in the past, it's not intentional.
yeah, it's not. It's definitely something that happens subconsciously.
Yeah, it's like the fact that you're living in the past, there's that one critical thing that isn't in your life that you just miss a lot. Like when I had surgery on my right leg because I was bow-legged, it was correctional surgery, nothing major, and I couldn't walk. You're damn right I was living in the past. I was like, oh my god, I can't walk anymore. I feel confined to crutches. Like, crutches legit felt like jail because it's like, it's something that you're confined to. There's no way of escaping it. You just gotta serve your time on crutches. But at the same time, it's like, being on crutches also taught me that you have to live in the moment as well. Because, truthfully, if you're on crutches, the only way you're going to get off crutches is if you take it day by day and teach yourself how to walk. And that's what ended up happening. I was on crutches for 2 months, but those 2 months felt like forever, like roughly 6 months. But even when I got off of crutches, I would think back to that time and I wouldn't miss it. However, I would think back and be like, it's crazy that I actually went through that. And when I would actually tell my friends about this experience, some of them would be like, oh, it's funny because there's this aspect of my past that I want a lot. And I would listen to them, and unlike me, where it's like I lived in the past, but I brought myself back to reality, there's something like a friend or one of their exes that they want to get back together with that they're living in the past for, but it's clear that that person isn't coming back. So a huge aspect of living in the past, in my eyes, is like, yeah, living in the past does happen, but it's a choice on whether you're going to stay there.
I feel you. Yeah. I will say this. Um, it's all depending on when you feel like you peaked. You know, like some people peaked early. Some people feel like that their peak was in high school, and that's like, why do you feel like you peaked in high school? Like you should feel like you're still growing. You should feel like you're still like you have more to do, like a lot more. Like whenever I think about it, you know, where my life is going or what it is I'm doing, like I always think like I got a fuck ton more shit that I want to do. Like I like every day I want to fucking make something. I want to do something. Like it was annoying. I will say this. In my interview, right, with my new
Hmm.
job, they were like, I feel like they were fucking skeptical. Like they were confused as to why I was coming back, and they were scared as to like how long I was gonna stay. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, you're a smart kid and everything," and like, "Yo, totally hire you on the spot." Just a little iffy on like, you know, if you're gonna stay. And I'm just like, I'm fucking here. Like I'm spilling my beans and guts to you because I want to be here. Like, give me the money so that I can fucking go live my life, serve my time. I'll stay here, you know. It's not like I have like a shit ton of jobs on my resume. I probably have like two or three, and they've all been like 6 months, 8 months, 2 months. You know, like I fucking work. I stay. I'm loyal, and I realize the way I talk is one filled with aspiration, not one filled with content. Because, you know, towards the end of the interview, I asked the hiring manager, like, you know, is there anything I should know about you? And then they were like, not really. I'm a parent. I don't say this as to imply that it is a woman and or I'm mocking them, but they had a very like content hum tone as like, yeah, I'm a parent, just kind of working my way up the company and etc etc. And I'm just like, if you're content with this, that's fine. Because I think one of the hardest things I had to learn in life was that some people are just content with living simple, small lives. You know, like they want to get a house, they want to live comfortably, they want to live quietly. That's all they want to do.
Definitely.
And that was like earth shattering for me because it was just like, how do you fucking not want everything under the sun and then more? Like, how do you not want to live on like the 85th floor in a building in New York? Like, what is this?
I see where you're coming from, but for me, just because me and all of my siblings are drastically different from one another, like I'm heavily into art, my younger brother is heavily into sport. So
Yep.
whenever we would be asked about our aspirations, they were the polar opposites of each other. So my younger brother acts like the opposite of me. Not to say, well, if you have sports, you have to adapt this type of attitude. I mean, it does happen, but it's not always the case. But growing up with him, I did begin to realize that everyone has traits or aspects of their life where they're content with, And some people want to go above and beyond. Like my younger brother's content doing sports, but I'm somebody that likes to change. The idea of change may be difficult at first, but I usually welcome it. Like, I don't know, it's
I
hard to
welcome the
describe.
idea of growth. Like I get what you're saying. Like you're not afraid to grow. You're not afraid to stir shit up in order to become a better person. You know.
Yeah. Like when some people say, "Oh, I just want a house. I want to sit inside, relax with a good book, or
And when I
just
think
chill
of
at home
that,
with the family." I'm like, "Okay, that's sweet, but I can't do that.
yeah, I feel
I'm
that
very
too.
extroverted. Like I get bored sitting in a house. It feels almost like torture sometimes. I don't know. I need to constantly do something,
You want to know what's
and it's
funny?
not because it's like I want something to do with my life, or it's one of those things where I'm looking for a purpose. It's like no, I legit like a lot of things about life, and it's hard to be like I want to legitimately do this for the rest of my life because I want to do art, but I want to do a bunch of other things. Continue.
Uh, y- One thing sidebar. My girl that hit me up for the threesome just replied with "Hi." I was just like, "Howdy, how'd that threesome turn out?" Question mark. Oh my god, fucking Tinder. I feel like people are more clever up here, more witty with their
Yeah.
shit, less like hey, hi, hey, hi, hey. Whoa. Sorry. I just saw this dude and he is like type the ultimate meme lord, but like he built like a fucking rock. I'm sending this to you. This is too funny. You gotta check out his profile. It's so fucking funny. Yeah. To attest to that, fuck. Can you just really brief me on what you just said? I had something for that. But then Jake with his
I
fucking
was
fabulous muscles distracted me.
I was just saying how some people, like everyone's different. The ideal goal for an introvert isn't the
Right.
same as for
I
an
remember what I
extrovert.
was gonna say. I was gonna say that my siblings and I, um, we're all type creative in a sense. So like we all have a base thing that we like to do, like that we like to do as a family, which is like music, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
that's just what we do. My siblings and I, my sisters and I, we sing. My brother does instruments. My sister is more. My younger sister is more dance. My older sister is more singy. I am more like lounge singer type. So like I'll sing like Sinatra shit. My sister will sing like R&B. My younger sister will like sing and dance to pop, and my brother will strum some shit on guitar. Like he's more melodic on guitar and stuff. Um, did you get my shit
For the
from?
love of God.
I know, right? His photos. Oh my god, they're so funny. I accidentally swiped right, which is exactly what I wanted to do. He's fucking funny. Oh my god, dude. Shout out
If
to
I need
Jake.
a body, if I need a bodyguard, I'll just give him a call.
You know, like Jake, I need you to wear a Psyduck helmet and then just follow me around.
He made me feel like I don't do shit at the gym, to be honest.
I
Like I'm gonna
know.
be in the gym, like, come on, Michael, do more sit-ups, do more push-ups.
Oh my god, am I right?
Honestly, that made me feel like a weak bitch.
I know, right?
I'm gonna be
Yo.
at the gym, like, don't need another fucking cookie. Feel the burn.
Oh my god, dude, it's so funny.
Go home fucking crying and shit from a workout.
All right, there's this guy who's type interesting. Like his bio makes him seem interesting, but his name is Ray Ray, so I'm not married to that. On
I'm
the other
rolling.
hand, this
But to
this
wrap up
chick
what
Jessica
we've
could
said,
fucking scoop me up in a minute. Shit. All right, but yeah, like I was saying,
about living in the past,
um,
my closing statement on it is it's okay to live in the past for a brief period of time.
no, it's not okay
Like,
to live in the past. I'm gonna take a spin on what you're saying, and only because I see where you're going, and I don't want that message to be said. It's okay to reminisce about the past, about the good times. That's fine. Living in the past, no. Don't do that to yourself because you can't move forward while looking backwards. It just won't work at all.
I was looking at it more like, well, yeah, definitely that. I was looking at it more like in life you'll have some issues in which you'll have to deal with somebody who's living in the past. So you'll have to sort of not live in the past as well, but help them reach an understanding like, yeah, this is in the past, this is how things were, but this has happened and this is why things are the way they are now, you know?
Yeah.
So taking your message of reminiscing and knowing that's okay, but at the same time, if you have a friend that lives in the past, don't allow them to continuously do that if you can, because I know everybody isn't as willing to change, but if you can help a friend out, help them out. They're your friend.
You want to know what's funny? The message is
What?
beautiful, by the way. The guys that I'm matching with, we're we're mostly interested in The Sims. Like under interest, it's like The Sims. Like for almost every guy, and I find that fucking hilarious. Because you know, like they say, The Sims is like the digital Barbie dolls or whatever. So I'm just like, a lot of people like to simulate their lives in The Sims. Guys fucking love The Sims, dude. Like I know dudes who fucking love to play The Sims.
Sims is fun.
Yeah, it's great. I just got the Parenthood pack and the Sims Get to Work. I got them on sale because fucking Sim expansion packs are dumb expensive. Like dumb expensive. I think this girl is on my block. Holy shit. I will say, like, when I talk about like houses and stuff like that, like, oh, I want to get a house or something, to me, I think about like a project. Like I it's a dream of mine to get a firehouse, like an old abandoned firehouse, clean it up, gut it, make sure that it's structurally safe, and then turn that shit into a house. Like turn a firehouse into a house. Like that has always been a dream of mine to do that. And I love that idea, and I'm probably gonna do that in a city. I want to do it in a city, but I don't want to do it in New York City. I want to do it in like a smaller city. So probably like, I don't want to say Georgia, but somewhere where it's more convenient and not too crowded like New York City. Because to do it in New York City would be fucking miserable, and it would cost so goddamn much because everything is vintage and aesthetically set in the city. This nigga's hairline, what even is it? This nigga got
Tell
fidget
him to
spinners.
fill it in with a Sharpie.
This nigga got fidget spinners for earrings and a fanny pack on, and he's just not tanned well. Stop. What are you doing?
I know I mean because I imagined Roger the alien from American Dad, as you said all of
That's
that.
exactly what I was looking at. But
Well, there's a special place in hell for me, but
me and you sitting in the hot tub in hell. That's my best friend.
I found this really interesting quote, and basically it relates to what we were talking about living in the past. It says, "Don't take what you have for granted, because a lot of people would kill for what you have."
Definitely.
And It's definitely facts because when you live in the past, you're not paying attention to what's right in front of you. So when it's gone, you're going to be pissed and you're going to live in the past even more because you're going to be like, damn, I not only fucked up, but now I fucked up to the point where I lost this person, and you're just going to feel like shit.
And then there have been those moments, and then there are those moments where you miss them, and then you want to text them again, and you want to talk to them again because you're like hoping that you still have that with them, you know? And it's like it was something that my mother said to me, because she is my mother and my stepfather, you know, they're together, and so there was something that had happened. Like I think an ex-boyfriend or something texted her just like, "You all right? How are the kids doing?" Like question mark, and she replied with, "I'm good. They're good. Life's good. That's it." Right. And she was telling me about that, and she was just like, yeah, because guys will text you knowing like they'll want to know if they have an in. They like, you know, some guys will always do that, and I'm just like, damn, like I am one of those guys. But she's just like, these guys are different though because they know me, they respect me, they respect your stepfather, and so when they message me, they're just messaging me to know how I am, like physically, mentally, health wise, and how you kids are, like if you're good, you know. And that's it. That's it. That's the last I hear of them, because usually I get like the one text, and after I let them know that I'm good and everything's good, they fucking move on. They do what they gotta do. And like I took that advice, and so like because usually after an ex, I just burn the bridge straight up. Like I'm one of those people that don't feel like if you've there are extremely few people, and I mean extremely few people, who I have dated and still continue to talk to. And I would say if I've dated you and still talk to you, there's a 60% chance that I still like you and would still want to be with you, but then realize like that's not good for us, you know? But like I like you enough to keep you close. Like you're good for me, and so I'll keep you close. I reached out to two of my exes, or well, one ex and one girl that I was flirting with. Like she was potential, but like she was just like, nah, it's not gonna work. And I was like, all right, fine, that's chill, that's whatever. And I didn't really fight to be friends because I just wanted to like give them space to deal with whatever, and then, you know. But now I'm going back. I'm trying to befriend them, and because their perspective on the world it aligns with my perspective on the world, and so I need that. I like having like-minded people around me, and so that's why I'm texting them back and being like, "Hey, what's up? You know, like how are you doing? What's up? How's your day? You know, just asking, friend. That's it." Because obviously that road of relationship doesn't work. That's fine. That's cool. And I feel like I'm growing on that, because like usually I would just burn the bridge. I just wouldn't talk. I'd just be like, all right, fuck it. You know what? We're not dating. Like, delete everything. Don't need to lose my number. You know? I'm real fucking petty. Just naturally petty. So I feel like that's a huge growth on my part. It doesn't feel like it, but it is. Well, I feel like it from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like it. Have you texted any of your exes?
Truthfully, out of everyone I dated, I only text two. One because, okay, here's how I decide whether or not to keep my exes as friends.
Mm-hmm.
If the relationship would be better as a friendship, and we don't want to lose each other.
Yes.
Like, it's not something like, hey, let's be friends for a while and see if it can get back together. It's like, no, we're friends and that's the way it's going to stay. Because two of
Definitely.
my exes, I'm not going to give their names, but one's the same sign as me and the other one is in Aries.
Oh my
I get
god.
along with both of them perfectly. The friendship is beautiful, I'm not going to lie. And we get along so well that if I told you we did it in the past, you would look at me like, really? Why aren't you guys
Just
together?
FYI, Michael is a Capricorn and I am a Taurus.
Yes. We're the same element, which is Earth.
Earth elements. Earth
Exactly,
thunder's up
we
in
went
the
there.
house.
Like, for them, I feel like it's fine to be friends with them because the relationship, it ran its course. We grew. We're still growing as friends. But at the same time, it's like there was no damage, you know? Because I feel like when you date somebody and an aspect of damage or hurt has been woven into it, then it's a little more complicated to be their friend,
Yeah.
if you understand what I'm saying.
No, I definitely feel you. A few
It's not to
people.
go on like a mini rant, but I've had a couple exes where the relationship was so bad that after it was over, like, I just lost all contact with them. And the majority of them felt the same way except for one. He was a Sagittarius, but even so, we don't interact with each other like that. It's like a, hey, how are you doing type of thing, and if anything, he does it more out of boredom, so it's like, you just get used to him.
Definitely. I will say that there have been exes who I have really connected with. Like one of my exes was a cusp, so they were born with two signs and not one. One of them was a Taurus and an Aries, so they were a Tauri Aries mix, and
That's wavy.
that is wavy. Like that's like the best mix you could get, cause like oof, baby.
I have a
Taurus is an
question
Aries.
after the story.
Yeah. Um, so I dated her. It was a girl, and it was great, but it wasn't because she had kind of just gotten out of a relationship. I mean, it was like a month or so after, but it was a 2-year relationship, so it was pretty heavy. And you know, I tried my best, but ultimately I just wasn't what she needed, and I don't think enough time had passed, and so like, you know, we could have been great, but it's just the timing was awful, and you know, I don't think that it's recoverable because of just basically I feel like I remind her of her ex to a degree. Not to say that we have the same ways, but mainly more of I don't know, it's weird. It's weird because there were things that I reminded her of, but not completely. Like I had my own way to it.
Is it one of those things where they try to avoid doing the things that their ex did which hurt them?
Mm, okay, yes and no, because it was at a point where I was still figuring shit out. So I didn't know I was polyamorous yet. So what ended up happening was that their ex had cheated on them, right? And I didn't want to cheat on them, but at the same time, I had like kind of sort of discovered that I liked to be sexually free because having sex was how I connected with people, and so I had asked them, I was like, look, do you mind if I have sex with other people? Because I'm not trying to cheat on you, but for whatever reason, this is something that, like, I really, really need. Like, I really need to be able to have this freedom, you know? And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever, because they're not really all that jealous, which, down the road kind of caused a hiccup, because they were like, if you were gonna be with me, then you needed to be with me and only me. And I'm just like, that just contradicted the whole discussion about being sexually free to begin with. Like, what are you talking about?
I think I know what she's saying. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh my god, you're in the wrong, but the dude that I'm with, he believes in the same thing you do.
Being sexually free or just being polyamorous?
Both, to be honest.
Okay, so is he polyamorous or is he like non-monogamous?
He's polyamorous, but he's trying monogamy for me because he really wants to make it work.
No, don't do that. I'm gonna tell you why. All right.
I'm not forcing him to do it. It's something that he wants to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Cause like, all right, so this literally just happened to me like a month ago. Or I would say a month ago, but it's probably like 2-3 weeks. So, my girlfriend and I, right? I had known her for almost 6 years, 5-6 years or so, and we had dated 5 or 6 years ago, and this was back in high school, and I dated her. But then at the time I had met another girl, you know, my the one I dated for 2 years in high school. So I had met Ren, and I had met, and so it was when I first stumbled upon, like, I like to call it my first polyamory, like, spark or discovery. I didn't exactly know what it was, but I had a dream basically that I wanted to be with them both, and that I foresaw it working. And when I told Ren about it and I explained to her everything, she was just like, no, what I want, that can't work, because what I want is for it to just be you and I. Like, that's what's comfortable for me. That's what I know. That's what I want. And so, when we were dating, when we first started dating again, right? And I had came out to her that I was polyamorous, and like, she was just like, okay, you're polyamorous, but I still want to be with you. Like, I'm not gonna participate in any of that polyamory shit, but you can, and because that's who you are, I'm not gonna try to change that. I love you and I accept you, right? Now, on me subconsciously, like, knowing that she is monogamous, she does not like that shit. I then subconsciously tried to put her on a pedestal and set her above every other potential girl that I was going to be with, or could have been with, or guy, or whatever, you know? So, like, I really, like, I focused a lot of my attention on making sure that she knew that I loved her, wanted to be with her, and would stick with her forever. And so I put all that attention and effort and all that shit onto it, and I started to hate myself because I knew I wanted to be with her, and I kind of, like, it's a strong feeling to want to be with somebody despite having feelings for other people too, because when you really care about someone, you care a lot. And the reason I'm telling you, and I really want you to have a conversation with your boyfriend about this, because I kind of don't doubt that he's feeling the same way. He doesn't like the fact that he likes other people because of how much he likes you. But that's something that, you know, he's gonna have to kind of accept. And it's okay, because if you love him, or, well, if you really do care about him and you want to be with him, you're gonna be with him despite him being with other people. No, it's not going to be easy because you're monogamous, but he's not. But you can learn and grow from this. And I personally do not advise that. Like trying to be monogamous when you know you are polyamorous. It's fine if you're not dating more than one person, but you can't shut yourself off for that. And I say that because I did the same shit. I was just like, we were walking down the street and I was like, do you want it to just be you and I for a while? Like, until you're comfortable with the concept of polyamory, like, do you want it to just be you and me? And she was just like, yes. Shouldn't have done that. Why? Because she would have never been comfortable, or she would never get to be comfortable with polyamory if I'm not dating someone else, if she's not experiencing my behavior when I'm with multiple people, you know? And like it's with being with multiple people and figuring out how to manage your time accordingly and stuff, because the emotions are easy. The emotions come naturally, you know. It's just the time management and like disciplining yourself so that you're not putting anyone on a pedestal, but at the same time you're still caring and loving, and you're not like driving yourself fucking insane, you know? Because fuck, dude, I really like, I want to play this because I recorded myself. I have a voice diary on my phone. I recorded myself. I'm not gonna do it because I got, it was hella messy and hella deep, but I'll play it for you after the podcast.
Okay.
When I listened to it, I was just like, holy shit. Like, I was hellbent sent on not being myself just because of who I was with and for their morals. But the solution for it is to just stick true to who you are and just be who you are. And, you know, it's not easy because, you know, it's not a concept that everyone's okay with, or, well, not everyone's familiar with, because naturally majority of people are polyamorous, but it's because of many decades of monogamous marriage that it's so ingrained into our head that one man and one woman are the way we were born, bred, and raised to be, when it's really not. I'm not saying that, you know, everyone is polyamorous. I'm just saying that some people are naturally and some people aren't. And that's okay. But if you are polyamorous, you can't beat yourself up about it, you know? You love people. That's just natural. That's natural to you. It's not a curse, you know? And it's not something that you should try to avoid. It's something that you have to realize that you take it one step at a time, you know? If you like someone, it's okay to have a crush on someone else, even if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend at the time. You know, it's okay to be on Tinder. It's okay to you know, but you have to fucking make that shit known. Like, if you're dating someone, you're in a polyamorous relationship, put on your profile polyamorous, put dating. You know, I have that, and that's my advice. You don't have to take it, but it's like it's not a barrier. You're just making someone aware. So if someone sees that and still swipes right, you know, you should already kind of expect them to know you are dating someone else, you are polyamorous, you are capable of being with more than one person, and that if they're monogamous, then that doesn't mean that you love them any less. And if you are monogamous and you're dating someone that's polyamorous, don't pressure them about marriage. Do not pressure them about any form of commitment. If you see that they are afraid of commitment, that's a separate issue. but being polyamory doesn't make them any more or less willing to commit. There are a bunch of millennials who already fucking don't even fuck with the idea of marriage, because 55% of marriages end in divorce anyways, and then second marriages increase to, I think, either 78, 75, or 65%. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So marriage is already a concept that over half, and this is just in America, but over half is failing overall. There are a bunch of alternatives. There are domestic unions. No, I think it's a civil union, domestic partnership. There's a ton of other things, ton of other alternatives to marriage where you can get the benefits of being married, but not with the whole marriage ceremony and shit like that, and like the signing of papers and prenups and all that other crap, you know? There are a ton of alternatives. Do your research. I heavily suggest that you do that, but that's just for my poly peeps that are struggling out there with your love.
Well, in response to what you said, first off, thank you for saying all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is something to think about. When he told me that he was polyamorous, we did have a conversation, and I'm fine with dating somebody that's polyamorous as long as they can make attention. As long as
They can make time
obviously
for
I
you.
know that I'm going to matter and they're going to make time for me.
Yeah. And like
But I just don't want it to be where they misinterpret being polyamorous with something else, you know?
Yeah. I mean polyamory is uh it's tricky because there are some people who say they are polyamorous but don't fucking look up anything, and I used to be that guy. I'm sorry. Being polyamorous is a process because it's something that you have to learn about, and then it's something that you have to willingly
Implicate.
yeah, you have to really implicate it. Like at first I wasn't honest about my multiple relationships. I forgot to be like, oh, by the way, I am dating someone too. Like, I just didn't make that clear. And then on another level, like, there's so many, like, you're gonna make fucking mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes while while trying to figure out your your sweet spot. You know, you're gonna fuck up. There's no ands if or buts about it, and you will get experience your heart broken. Like if you're dating someone who is polyamorous, just know that they are dating other people, so they're going to be like emotionally charged. You know, I find myself overflowing with intense feelings of love, and it's like I would sooner rather get a pet than to find someone just to blurt I love you, I love at you, you know? Because it's like, it's not like you have an intense need to find people to love. It just happens naturally. And I see that well, in my experience, a lot of, I just said in my experience, I find that I tend to sacrifice being polyamorous a lot in order to make my monopoly relationship work, which is not what you should do. It's really not. If you're polyamorous, stick to being polyamorous. Keep learning about polyamory. Keep learning about what other people do in their polyamorous relationships. Look up polyamory breakup videos or something like that. Like, I can suggest some channels on YouTube. Ari Fits, ARIFITS, Ari Fits. There's also Poly Ronnie Rambles. Open Lifestyle is a good one. there's a ton of like polyamorous YouTube channels that you can look at and learn some stuff. I even have a playlist called Understanding Polyamory on my channel, and that's youtube.com /C/Tykei, Tykei. I have a playlist on there called Understanding Polyamory, and it's great. You should look at it because that's what I usually send to anyone that that conversation comes up about dating. Like if that conversation happens, then I'm just like, look, before you agree to anything, I need you to know I am polyamorous. I will most likely be dating other people at the same time as you. That doesn't take away from the attention or the love. I have more than enough to give to you, to them, to everything. And I have a bunch of information on polyamory so that you can learn, even if it's just the basics about how polyamory people think. And I send them the playlist. I have books about it in case someone wants to read.
Okay.
That nigga. Yeah, and if you're polyamorous, make the information available. Do some research, make the information available to your significant others. Don't leave them in the dark. The better they understand you, the easier of a time you'll have, just in general.
And I'm gonna give you the perspective on monogamous people dating polyamorous people,
Please,
or at
please
least
do.
my perspective.
Oh my god, I want this shit.
Because
Give it to me.
I personally believe that I'm very understanding. If you tell me that you're polyamorous, the first thing I want to know is how that affects you in daily life, because it affects everyone on a different scale. Some people tend to be more emotional than others, and some people feel love differently, show it differently, and in terms of relationships, get invested more differently. So whenever you're monogamous and somebody tells you, hey, I'm polyamorous, first thing that comes to mind is this thought saying, okay, where do I stand? It's not an insecurity. It's more of the fact that, okay, we know that there are tons of attractive people out here. I know that sometimes you could be in a relationship and have sexual feelings for somebody else or lust after somebody else because we're humans. We like sex.
Agreed.
But it's just a thing where you don't want to wake up one day and have your partner saying, I like this person more than I like you, or what's the word? To be in a situation where your partner can't have both, If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And
they're dating you, somebody else, and the other person, and you are both monogamous, and the other person's like, okay, it's either me or the other person, and your partner's like, I really like both of you, but I don't know who to choose.
that should never
That's
be the
painful.
case. That should never be the case. And it's usually not the case. It's usually what. Okay, so the way I see it is that there's a percentage of the polyamorous person making that the case, and then there's also a larger percentage of the monogamous person making that the case, because the thing that happens is that the person who is monogamous does not inform themselves on what polyamory is, or they fill their heads with doubt and shit, and then they go look at like the darker sides of polyamory, like how polyamory doesn't work, or how polyamory is bullshit and all this other shit. And it's just like, okay, I get it. You're afraid of being second, but to understand polyamory is to realize that there is no first, second, third, fourth, none of that bullshit. It's just a matter of, I like you, and I like this person, and I like that person. And you know what? Just because I like them, and you doesn't mean that I like this person first, you second, this person third. That's not what that is. It doesn't matter who I met first. It doesn't matter who I talk to more often. I care about all of you. I love all of you. I want to be with all of you, which is why, we're all dating, which is why. And I realized that polyamorous, to some people, it's they instantly think like everyone's fucking everyone and everyone's sharing everyone, and it's just like, no. To be honest, I think that there are some people who are polyamorous, but openly polyamorous. Like, they don't like a serious relationship. They like to bounce around from people to people, and that's fine. But for me, polyamory for me is like, I like to be in intimate relationships with multiple people, because I like people. I like different personalities, and I like, like learning about you from a different perspective, or from learning about you and learning about somebody else and loving you and loving somebody else, because everyone's different. So everyone has a different sex language, everyone has a different love language, everyone has a different like behavior in general,
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like that's the hardest hurdle, to kind of realize that there is no placement, but there's no placement, there's just love. It's just love.
Now that I hear it that way, it is a little more reassuring than the explanation I was given, or typically receives from my monogamous friends.
Yeah.
And in terms of polyamory, I get it, everyone's different. Some people, like myself, prefer a relationship with just the two of us, and others, like you, want more. You want relationships with many people. And to the huge extent, I appreciate your honesty. I love the fact that you are like, look, here's what people think, but here's the facts.
Yeah.
But I want you to know that as well as you can break it down, there's going to be this sense of doubt that polygamy, or polyamory, if I'm saying it right,
It's
will mess with the
polyamory.
relationship. Polyamory?
Yeah. I've only caught a few. I realize a lot of people think polygamy is what polyamory really is. It's not. Yeah. Polyamory doesn't mess up a relationship. The only people that can mess up a relationship is the two people in the relationship. So it's like if you were to say being one person being gay and one person being bisexual would ruin a relationship. It's like, it's what you are, If one person's attracted to both men and women, and the other person's attracted to just men or just women, like, you can't fault them for liking what they like or loving what they love. But it's up to you to just make sure that you're sticking true to who you are, because that's who they fell in love with, or
Definitely, I get it. I wouldn't want him to feel like he should be afraid to be who he is. And I'll even talk to him about it again.
yeah, you kind of gotta
See
beat
if
him
his
over the head with
stances-
it. I don't know. He might take
Okay.
things a lot easier than I do. I tend to like to think that people learn the same way I do. They don't, but definitely like beat him over the head with it. Like, look, dude, you don't have to stick to being monogamous. You are polyamorous. Like you are naturally just going to find other people that you are interested in, as long as you love me and like we keep each other in the loop about things. It's fine, cause you do want to stay in the loop. You do. Like honestly, if I'm dating someone who is also polyamorous and they've been dating someone longer than me, I would want to know if they're using protection or not, or if like you know how often they're going to be spending time with them or stuff like that, because those are things that you would like, things that you want to know. Like I wouldn't want to know every detail about a date that you had or something like that, but if there's something interesting, or like let's say you had some really bomb sex with them and there's a move or something that you thought or that you would like to try, like that could be beneficial to our relationship, because then you're experiencing things that we have not yet experienced, and so you have more to bring to the table. But then that's not also to
Mm-hmm.
say that, you know, you become an old dog with the same tricks. Like you can be with one person and still find shit for you guys to do. There's always more shit to do. You just have to look. You know, you don't have to be dating other people just to figure out more shit for you to do in one relationship. There's always shit to do. You can always look, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the way you worded everything, I can't have a rebuttal to that because it was just so well worded and so well thought out. That's like, yeah, okay. Plus, you already touched on to one of my concerns. Like, if you are polyamorous, I feel like I just keep butchering that name.
No, you said it right. Polyamorous. Yep.
If it applies to you, here's the only thing I ask. If you have other people, that's fine, that's dandy. If you want to make time for me and that person, cool. And just let me know, because I'm somebody who's big on communication. And as long as I have that heads up, I'm going to be fine. Because I'd rather know than not know, you know? And I feel like I'm speaking for myself, but there are some people that could feel this way too. If I'm dating somebody who is polyamorous, I'd rather, as you were saying, know about the person that they are seeing and know that they're happy. Not to say that you want to know bits and pieces of their information, you got to be like them and be obsessive. That, no. I just want to be aware of how many people are part of it and that my partner's happy. That's it. Because I don't want it to be something where we're just chilling, we're on a date or whatever, then somebody else who you're dating approaches me and says, hey, what are you doing with him or her? Because that's my boyfriend or girlfriend. That's why I would be pissed and be like, why didn't you tell me? You know?
Definitely. Like, I always try to stick my 2 cents in. One thing that I will say is I do not, I personally do not handle exes well. Um, Mainly because I feel like the last interaction that I had with an ex, not mine, but one of my uh, partner's exes, uh, it the reason I contacted them or something, or just even did what I did, not to go into it detail because I don't want to put that out there, but it wasn't anything bad. I didn't like start a fight or shit like that. It was just like it stemmed from a place of jealousy because of I didn't I haven't spoken really much to my girlfriend in the past 4 or 5 years. So I don't know her as well as I could, but I realized I texted or messaged their ex because they knew them better than I did. So, like, I don't know why, but I wanted to feel like it was definitely jealousy. It was definitely out of jealousy. And I feel like that's a problem, you know, that's me living in the past because had I just realized like, you know what, we're dating now. We're heading for the future. Like this person has no fucking say in what we do or where we go or like how we act with each other. But I feel like they did. And I realized it stemmed from jealousy because they knew my significant better than I did. And that's only because they've been with them for the past however many years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I personally was just like, well, I fucked up, but you know, I give you my word, I won't do that shit ever again. Like, not with you, not with anybody else. Like, you know what? Not everybody handles shit differently. Or, well, the same way. Like, what works for me doesn't work for everybody else, you know? And it's like, whatever.
Definitely.
Sometimes whatever works for me doesn't even work for me 100%, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, trust me, I get it. For not to go into like a whole nother tangent, but in terms of relationships and what works and what doesn't, I find that I have to this may sound cheesy, but I have to do the whole I feel thing. Like if I'm talking to you, I'll be like, okay, but this is how I feel because growing up, it was easier to just feel a type of way and shrug it off. Like nobody would suffer from it, but the way I think more logically. So it's easier for me to make actions based off of logic. When I do them, a lot of people will read into it and be like, oh, well, because Michael did this, they don't care. Or this means X, Y, and Z. And similarly to what you were saying, like, yeah, it doesn't work for everybody, but it also takes, like, understanding. Like, you gotta try and understand how the other person is. And even, like, having relationships with other people is something that needs to be understood. Your partner as a whole is somebody who you just gotta take time out to understand, because even though I only believe in a relationship with me and my partner, I still find myself in situations where I have to constantly reassure my partner that I care. Because I can care about somebody, but I won't really show it. So I
Yeah,
have to get into the habit of showing more and making sure that my partner knows that I do care. You know?
definitely. That's definitely. Um, one thing that I will say that I do hate is